Welcome back to Absolutely. There, that's the new name. That's the new name of the channel. Ow, my knee popped. Anyway, today we're talking about Agatha being canceled / indefinitely postponed. Ow, that really hurt. Ow, I'm in pain. Okay. I have injuries. Leave me alone.
Yeah, we get it. Medically discharged from the army. Guys, so Agatha's gone now, apparently.
Yeah, it's not canceled. It's indefinitely postponed. If my wedding was indefinitely postponed, they would say it was canceled.
Right. And we're going to talk about this because there's a lot of things that have been said by Kevin Feige recently. We're going to do a whole video on the stuff he said and the direction he wants to take the MCU. It looks like from now. I have a feeling this is backlash to everything going on in general and the direction that DCU is taking. But regardless of all of that, let's talk about Agatha specifically. I don't care that this is canceled, indefinitely delayed, because what was it even about to begin with? It was the only thing that sounded slightly interesting, but enough that I didn't give a crap if it ever came out.
No.
I like that Aubrey Plaza was casted in it, and that was it. That's the limit. I was like, oh, Aubrey Plaza, she's hilarious and weird in an MCU. That sounds awesome. The moment they announced it, I remember rolling my eyes and audibly being like, why are we doing this? Because I love Kathryn Hahn. I thought she was really fun in WandaVision. That would be a really weird use of her character, then give her a spinoff, especially 3 years later. If you gave her a spinoff like immediately after WandaVision, probably would have done really well.
Yeah, you're right. If they had prepped like this Agatha show to come out within a month or two.
Oh, during the coronavirus? You kidding me?
Yeah. Because WandaVision did great, and that's when we cared about Agatha. I barely remember what Agatha did, other than it was Agatha all along. Which
is what she did, and that was really entertaining. But I remember that reveal. People were excited. People loved Kathryn Hahn. At that point, she was doing that. She was doing Miss Fletcher. She was doing something else. Yeah. She had a lot of hype behind her. Just boom, bang, immediately drop the Agatha show. But they didn't plan ahead, so.
I don't know why. Like it's planned. Even now, it's not like it was coming out this year. No. That was still just in development. Right. So it would have been like a 2024 or 2025 series.
Yeah.
It feels just like one of those things where they were seeing the meme potential of it was Agatha all along, and they went, yeah, we can make a show about that. I mean, like, we have to, because you know that like everyone at Marvel Studios was strong-armed into making shows at all, because none of them got into making TV. They got into the Marvel Studios because they wanted to make movies. And so when Disney was like, we're pushing this $1 trillion app, make shows now out of your movie properties, or just whip up shows out of thin effing air. They were like, well, if we're just making stuff up, we could make the Agatha show, which has almost no previous setup whatsoever,
right?
And just literally ascribe any of the things that we were going to do to known properties to this unknown property, develop it ourselves. We're smarter than Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko anyway. We're way better than Roy Thomas.
You're barely smarter than Steve Ditkovich. That's
we can definitely make something out of whole cloth, as you can see from when we have done that.
That's been my argument since the beginning with all these changes to everything. Like going back to the video game alterations and the comic book alterations, like why do you think you're smarter than the people that have made billion-dollar franchises out of successful storylines like Halo and Resident Evil and half of the MCU properties where they just take 5 stories and mash them into one? Like one of the complaints I've seen right now with the MCU is that they're running out of steam because they blew their load at the early on in the entire thing. Yeah. I disagree with that, but we are running out of the popular stories because you took 3 of them and merged them into one.
No. They're not. Here's the thing. They may be running out of recently developed, popular or commercially successful stories, but there's like 90 years worth of stories. Every year, there's at least one awesome story on average. Except for those years when there's like 5, right? They'll never run out.
I agree with that, but if they merge them all,
if they just slap them all together, I mean, especially, here's the thing. If you have a formula where you're like, we're going to take 90 years of history and we're going to condense it into about 15 years worth of movies, and we're going to merge 3 different decades worth of stories into one movie and kill every villain in every movie, you will not have a cohesive universe at the end of it.
No, and I agree. That's the big issue I think they're running into right now. Yeah. But that's a different discussion. Let's go back to the Agatha situation. I feel like this is part of... You mentioned meme, that they were riding on the meme of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay? And I think that's part of the problem, because I feel like part of Phase 4's issue is they were chasing memes and Twitter, and they were chasing social media, and we weren't chasing good stories.
Yeah.
We were chasing twerking She-Hulk. We were chasing just make stupid stuff up that is hit or miss.
Right.
We were like, and I feel like that's the issue. They were looking for the potential to push out the property without, and I feel like they weren't worried about good or bad.
No, well,
Twerking She-Hulk to me is they had to know that was going to blow up, not in the way they wanted.
The thing is, they're just not worried about the quality of the product that they're putting out, because you can put twerking She-Hulk, but if the CGI looks incredible and it, like, lines up with everything else going on, the people who are going to complain about it are going to complain about everything. Oh, minorities are in my television. Like, they don't like anything anyway, so who cares?
Every time that Marvel has decided to back a celebrity cameo, it has failed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And putting Megan Thee Stallion in the episode was their way of trying to capitalize on a, like, currently happening trend. Every current trend they put in their movies, who doesn't still turn inside out when they watch Black Panther and what are those? In the theater opening night. It was met with groans and hisses.
Yeah.
And then, very quietly, everyone just kind of forgot, but they did it again in Infinity War when Spider-Man's arms popped out. And he said, what are those again? And we're like, again? Okay, because that was 2 years after the expiration date. 2 years ago, man. What are you doing?
Yep. And then there was, there's things like the Elon Musk cameo in Iron Man 2.
Which aged great.
Yeah.
That aged like freaking milk, man. That's disgusting. Like, just the idea of having that, which, like, hey, Rick and Morty did the same thing. Elon Tusk was a character. Now, no, the media thing of that. So just spend less time in that type of pop culture. Spend more time writing good stories. Don't spend all your money on Megan Thee Stallion, except pay her. She's wonderful and talented, deserves to be on screen. But
who's that?
don't use her for that.
Oh,
You want to do this again, Benny? You'll lose again.
I
Dylan
did
might
not know.
be
My
here to
God,
back
you
me,
lost.
but I'll
You
win
lost
it.
at our war. No.
No, you didn't. Watch the
you
video.
lost.
We
You
won.
100%
We won.
lost. No.
I literally won that.
Nope.
Anyway.
Not at all.
I won that.
I was like, I'm
But
not
you're
doing
right.
this.
I mean, like, the fact is, like, they need to. The whole thing about Disney Plus was they're like, we need to make things. We don't have time to really, because you could tell, like, Feige was like, he showed up for when they were shooting, documentary footage, and was not there the rest of the time.
Yeah,
And he can't be.
I know, but it feels like he's been out of the like he's kind of passed the reins off.
Yeah.
And the people in charge are just like, because you felt Kevin Feige's presence in Phase 1 through 3.
Easily.
And Phase 4 has just kind of felt like they just kind of he's just slapping approve on anything that came across his desk.
You felt his presence when they made, like, big decisions that upset their entire plan, but you could tell, like, when they got Spider-Man, thanks to the strength of the Russo brothers and getting him into Civil War, immediately after that, when they had the big Slate announcement at, like, either D23 or Comic-Con, whenever it was, when they had the big wall, and they were like, Inhumans is off, Spider-Man is in. That felt like a Feige going, like, I finally have an excuse to kick Inhumans the hell out of here.
Suck
and
my
get,
Ike Perlmutter. Suck it.
Yeah.
You can suck it, man.
Go make a show that no one will enjoy.
Oh
and then,
my God.
but you can tell he's like, look, we made the deal. We have Spider-Man. I'm gonna be involved, and it's like, you really do feel his absence in almost all of the Disney Plus properties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it hasn't felt that way in the Phase 4, because Phase
Yeah.
4 has felt really incohesive. Like, back in Phase 1 through 3, we never even would have considered an Agatha project.
No.
But, like, I could have seen a Moon Knight movie tried to come out. I could have seen
yeah.
that in Phase 1 through 3. I could have seen a Falcon Winter Soldier buddy cop movie coming out.
Yeah.
I could have
Yes.
seen WandaVision being a movie that came out. I could have seen all of these, but Agatha, no.
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't see that. You know?
No, Agatha was a, like, let's give this, like, new TV studio its own project. And I guarantee you, like, everybody who was going to work on Agatha, like, was on She-Hulk or whatever, like, it was just, they found their place. But Agatha was one of those things that everyone pretty much, like, anybody who was apologizing or excusing Agatha in the most generous way was going, I mean, I like her. So,
Right.
but nobody was like, finally, this makes sense. This is part of
Agatha TV show.
No, I've said
That's
since
like
the
peanut butter
beginning,
and
what is
jelly.
the point
Yeah.
of this? I've said that
Genius.
since the beginning.
Right. Yeah, you
What
were
is the
definitely a big booster of Agatha as a show. You were like, I need to know more about this. That flashback of her at Salem, we need like 8 more episodes of that.
That's like a 20-season show. I'm excited.
Easily.
For
Yeah, of course.
Like
you just want
Daredevil.
Supernatural, but starring Kathryn Hahn.
Yes.
I really do wonder, why can't the MCU produce television? Like, why?
Because they're a movie studio. They're not thinking in that way. Like they're just not geared
As
towards
much
that.
as much as you don't like the Titans show, Hassan, you have to
horrible.
admit the Titans show plays like a show.
It's a show.
It plays
Based on
like
the quality
a show.
of it being awful, yes.
Right.
No, it's a great show. But anyway,
Look. Well, I was thinking about. I'm always thinking of Game of Thrones when I think of like expensive TV.
Yeah.
And Game of Thrones doesn't play it like a movie. Not necessarily, but it is like a cinematic experience. Like you could go watch every episode in the theater if you were so inclined.
Sure.
And I always wondered why, like, the only MCU show that felt like that, where it's a movie split up into 6 parts, is Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes.
And then Loki felt like a TV show in the sense of it's a cinematic experience. It's almost like Game of Thrones. You could watch it in the theater,
Yeah.
but it is still very clearly a TV show and how it feels.
Yeah, it's episodic.
WandaVision felt like a made-for-TV TV show.
Yes.
Up until it jumped the shark, and then it didn't, COVID, whatever. We can blame COVID for that because half the actors were unavailable. A bunch of important scenes were cut. Makes sense. It's crazy that they would even consider doing an Agatha spinoff, because what would they do with that?
honestly, I feel like She-Hulk is part of the reason this got indefinitely delayed / canceled.
Yeah.
Because look at the projects. WandaVision was set up to be kind of a show. That would felt like a show.
Yeah.
But Falcon Winter Soldier was obviously a movie. Loki was kind of that middle ground. It
was
felt
good.
like-
I think
yeah.
Loki was where it should
Loki
be.
was good, and
Loki,
it was
I think, was a good spot. Yeah, I think it was a good show. But I was just saying, like, it felt like, but even Moon Knight just felt like a long movie again. Because if you think about 15 minutes of Moon Knight being on screen, that would have worked with an hour-and-a-half movie. Like,
No, it would have been very. But you know what? It would have worked as an hour-and-a-half movie if it had come out in the year 2003, because that's what the formula used to be. But like the Moon Knight show was what they thought their new Marvel show formula is. You know what I mean? Like, because Moon Knight is Ms. Marvel, is Hawkeye, is She-Hulk. Like, it all feels like the same thing.
well, Miss Marvel felt like 2 movies. You had episodes 1 through 3, and then 3 through 6, and then
That's right.
She-Hulk was the one that actually felt like they tried to make a sitcom style show. And the problem is they just didn't get good writers.
It
They
just
didn't,
wasn't
and they didn't have
very
the
good.
money for it. I think
Yeah.
it's like you have to. There's stories that we want to tell, but if the visuals can't catch up with it, put it off until you can afford to do it.
And that's yeah, go ahead.
no. You're right. You could go
Well,
ahead.
like, She-Hulk is emblematic of the real problem we're all not talking about with the MCU right now, which is this very complacent, we've already reached the top, let's just coast mentality.
Well, it's
Where-
exactly what they're doing. It's
Right,
exactly what they're doing.
And
Which
it's
is
not
going to be
even
the
like-
other video.
right? Because it really is just like, but Agatha being canceled suggests that someone at the top noticed. You know what I mean? Like it's like, Wolf of Wall Street, where it's all chaos and everybody's just having fun and like eating goldfish and letting goats run around, and then someone like Jordan Belfort like had a come to Jesus moment and came in and was like, I'm sorry, are we supposed to be doing work here?
No, it's exactly it. I was going to talk about that because that's the big issue. Everyone wants to whine and complain about the MCU, and we'll talk about this in the other video much more in depth.
We'll whine and
So
complain
we'll
about the
leave it
MCU
here.
later.
Yeah, but you know what? Let's just go back to Agatha so we can end this and do that
Agatha.
discussion.
Yeah.
If you're watching this on the YouTube channel, don't worry. That video is probably going to come out tomorrow or the day after. We're just doing Agatha first.
Yeah.
But yeah, in general, I feel like after the failures that did come out of the shows, so Moon Knight, obviously, Moon Knight's divisive, regardless how you feel.
It is.
I like
it
Moon
is.
Knight. I was one of the few.
But that's divisive. That's the point of divisive, Hassan.
Someone.
I was stating my stance, Mr. Moon Knight hater. You do in the middle of my sentences, I'm doing in the middle of yours.
Stop
I hated the
copying
finale
me.
though. I thought the finale was
Yeah, it was.
I didn't. The problem I had with Moon Knight, everyone thinks I hated Moon Knight. I keep using it as an example. I didn't hate it. The problem is, I wasn't excited about it at any point. Like it didn't amp up.
It felt like
didn't.
work.
Yeah.
Watching it felt like work. Like that was the one where I'm like, we talk about Moon Knight later. I have to watch this.
I don't
It
know if I
didn't
was
feel
on the
enjoyable.
Moon Knight review. I don't think I was. Maybe I did 1 or 2 episodes because that show felt like fun for me because I remember, Benny, we were in LA during one of those episodes coming out, and then you went back, and me and Isaiah like had an Airbnb, and we were like excited to watch Moon Knight at the nice TV that we had over there. We were excited that they had a nice TV, and it was fun. We watched the finale there. So
and I say I'm not against it. I would rewatch it, but I just feel like a good chunk of it could be cut out. That's my issue. I feel it's too bloated.
The only time I'll watch Moon Knight again is if I have like on good authority a like really good editor who made a movie out of the show.
Yeah.
That's it.
I just feel like it was a movie that they padded out they padded out the uninteresting parts, in my opinion. That's what I didn't like.
Yeah, we don't get
But
the
anyway,
things we're
what I'm
excited
saying
about.
is the divisive reaction to that, the divisive reaction to She-Hulk, because
Yes.
I'm on the fence of being like, it's not terrible, but it's not good.
Well,
it's
that's
not good
the thing.
at all.
All of them. Like, there hasn't been a Marvel Disney Plus program.
There hasn't been a
since
dud.
Loki that everybody's been. There's been a dud, but no one has been like unanimously. This was a success.
Yeah.
And I think they're like, we're not used to that. We need to fix this. And Agatha's one of those things where like it's just going to be another She-Hulk, like you were saying. Where the wrong people are going to be mad. There aren't enough of the right people. Let's just not.
Yeah.
And who
And I
asked
think
for this?
that's emblematic of where I was getting to with this whole discussion.
Right.
I feel like canceling Agatha is them starting to realize maybe we shouldn't do C-tier sitcoms with no money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should just not. That's something that it's what I like to call restraint.
Yeah.
And it's something that these guys don't have, and them canceling Agatha or indefinitely postponing it is I think a good example of like heading in the right direction, regardless of how good you thought Agatha was ever going to be, and whatever. It's I think exercising restraint is a rare quality in this kind of grouping, and it's positive. Makes me feel good. I'm like, because after everything else lately, I'm kind of like, we need to pick and choose our projects now. We need to start like prioritizing.
Well, it sounds like we're going to be, which is our discussion is going to be. So if you want to hear us talk about Kevin Feige rumors and what's coming out, make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, because here at Absolutely, we release videos news is ramping up. We try, but you can guarantee you get one almost every other day at least. We do try weekly, like daily, but we're getting back up there. Yeah. But anyway, we're going to be talking about the Kevin Feige rumors and the possibility they're going to be showing that restraint very soon. Make sure you stick around. I'm Benny, that is Sal, and that is Hassan, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. We'll see you next time.